I think it's totally eerie. You have no idea of how you two are supposed to be squeezed in there. In a good sense of word, nothing creepy, I promise. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this very grey, very winter day in Bologna, Italy. I love making chatty videos about life in Italy and traveling to Italy, as you probably know. And if you're new here, if you don't know me, welcome to my channel, welcome to Dramatically Expatic. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button down below. And today I want to talk about visiting Italy and things that shock tourists. I mean, after having lived here for 7 years, I think I got used to many of those things and I'm not surprised by them anymore. However, I've talked about it to some fellow expats and fellow tourist travelers, and I've discovered some of the top things that absolutely shock foreigners in Italy. So if you're ready guys, without further ado, let's get into the video. Number one thing that shocks travelers here in Italy is apparently the noise. Well, I might be biased, or probably I'm used to it, but I don't find Italy the noisiest country. However, some people, some foreigners report that Italy is very, very noisy. Well, I think it can get somewhat loud, somewhat noisy in the restaurants or in the bars, maybe a bit less on the streets, at least here in the north. However, yeah, overall, I wouldn't say Italy is that loud or that noisy. Anyway, I personally find Spain to be way, way, way more loud. However, that's apparently the number one thing that shocks everyone here. Well, honestly, after having lived here, I find it so weird when you go to other countries, especially Northern European countries, and you go to the restaurants or you take public transportation and it's that silent there. I think it's totally eerie. Italian breakfast is also high on foreigners' list of surprising things. I've talked about it a million times before, but the traditional Italian breakfast, the one that you'll find everywhere, is a croissant and a cup of coffee or cappuccino. And the croissant is usually a sweet one. Well, it might be surprising for people traveling here from different countries who are used to fuller breakfast, like something more savory, and then they go out somewhere to have breakfast or even in their hotel sometimes, and there's hardly anything savory there. This is not exactly true, because there are savory croissants, you can find them. You can even find croissants stuffed with prosciutto or cheese or something like that, maybe lettuce, some tomatoes. However, the most traditional and typical thing is a sweet croissant filled with Nutella or chocolate, cream, jam. Honestly, just talking about the things make me crave a sweet croissant like that, a breakfast croissant in Italy. But yeah, this is the most common way to have breakfast, especially if you're having it somewhere in a coffee shop or what they are called here, bars. For me, I think I'm so used to it. I don't mind Italian breakfast at all. I really love a sweet croissant, as you can tell, and I love coffee, so I'm quite okay with that. Honestly, for me it depends whether I'm having breakfast at home, in which case I'd probably have something more savory like scrambled eggs with vegetables and fruits, and if I'm going out somewhere, if I'm going to have breakfast at a coffee shop, then sweet croissant it is, and definitely a cup of coffee. Some foreigners are surprised by how many hand gestures Italians use. Well, I think it's lovely and also rather cute, and it's so helpful if you are a foreigner, especially if you're an expat coming to Italy with zero knowledge of Italian. When I first came here and I didn't speak Italian at all, I was just learning Italian, you have no idea on how many occasions it saved my life, because people, understanding that I didn't speak Italian, were explaining things to me literally using their hands, whether it was about directions or something else, and it was so helpful. Also, I very often get comments about how many hand gestures I use in my videos, so yeah, probably it's something that you pick up after living here for some time, and I honestly think it's one of the best habits I've picked up after moving to Italy, because I absolutely love it. Another thing that almost everyone mentions, especially everyone who has an experience of driving in Italy, are the very narrow countryside roads. I totally agree with that, because When I first started driving, it was the most shocking and stressful thing for me personally. You know this situation when you go to a small town, and I visit lots of small towns because I love making travel vlogs from there, and you can actually check them out up here. We'll leave you a link to my travel playlist. So very often I find myself going to these small towns, and then you turn somewhere and you find this very, very narrow countryside road. And at the beginning you're like, well, okay, I can do it. But then, at some point, you see a car approaching you in your direction and you realize it's a bidirectional road, and you're absolutely shocked and stunned because you have no idea of how you two are supposed to be squeezed in there. Then, every time, somehow, luckily, it works out for me, but every single time, still, after all these years, I'm so stressed out by these situations. I don't know how Italians do it, but I think it's their superpower to squeeze themselves in these super narrow roads and somehow avoid any unpleasant incidents. So yeah, you know, this is the thing in Italy. These narrow roads are the very, very stressful moment when you live here or when you travel here. So keep that in mind, guys, if you plan on traveling in Italy or if you're planning a road trip around Italy. And I totally agree with that, and apparently I'm not alone who's stressed out by this aspect of Italian life. Finally, the last thing on my today's list of things that shock or surprise foreigners in Italy is the so-called lack of personal space. This is something that most foreigners notice. I personally think it's not that much about the lack of personal space. I think it's more about Italians just being quite touchy, in a good sense of word, nothing creepy, I promise. However, it's just kind of normal that when you meet someone new here, for them to lean in and kiss you on the cheek or hug you, and the more you get to know these people, the more it gets common. I think it's quite nice. I remember feeling a bit weird about it when I first came here. It was just something that I wasn't used to, but then over time, you know, and over the years I've lived here, I got so used to it that now it's quite normal for me, and I actually think you pick up this habit as well so much that when you meet other foreigners in other countries, it's natural for you now to hug them, and then people are like, wait, we just met. However, I think it's lovely. Anyway, now story time, guys. I used to be a part of an international theater group here in Italy when I first came here. It was my second year here, I think, and we had a Polish girl in that group, and she complained a lot about the lack of personal space. She was a very reserved person and she did not enjoy everyone touching her. And you know, in theater, these lines are very blurred, the lines of personal space, I mean. Then imagine a theater where at least half of this international group was Italian, so the lines are very, very blurred. But then over time, maybe in 6 months or so, she relaxed and got used to it, and then she started hugging people in response, and then she started to initiate these hugs and just this lack of personal space. Then when she returned home, she complained once again that people were not like that, were not as warm as Italians were, and I think she had kind of a reverse culture shock. But yeah, you know, I think you get used to it, and then once you relax and once you realize this is the way of communicating for Italians, I think you start to embrace this habit and to actually love it. And that's it for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this quick chit-chat video. I did some research to prepare it for you, talked to other expats and travelers, and I honestly had so much fun discussing the things that are surprising for us or for them or for me, you know, and just comparing the things and to which level they shocked us or surprised us at different points of life here in Italy. And I hope that my videos inspire you to come here to Italy and to experience this country for yourselves, whether living here or visiting it. Italy is a fantastic country, and as I said before, guys, you probably know how much I love it and how much I travel around this country, so you can absolutely check out my other videos to find out more about Italy in life here. I will also leave you a link up here to my playlist about expat life if you're interested in moving to Italy. And guys, if you're new here, once again, subscribe and hit that bell button down below. Also, guys, if you like my content and if you want to say thank you, don't forget to hit the thanks button. Once again, down below, right near the like button. You can find even more exclusive information about traveling to Italy and life here on my Patreon page. I will leave you a link in the description box, so check it out and subscribe if you want to receive this information every week. And as always, guys, please don't forget to like, comment and share this video with your friends so I can make more videos for you. Thank you for being here and enjoy your day!